Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Transfer Show. Even though I promised, like when the transfer window started, that I was going to be releasing weekly roundups of what the rumors were and what were the official transfers that were going to take place. But unfortunately, as you guys know, like I fell sick, so I couldn't do anything for the month. But we recently released our we recently have come back on the Late Winner Show, so definitely look out on our YouTube channel. We'll be releasing a lot more episodes. We recently just did our FPL video where we talked about our free hit and wildcard guide. So definitely do check that out and let us know in the comments below as well, like what you're thinking in terms of wildcards and free hits for FPL. Lots more to come on the Late Winner Show in the coming weeks. Definitely trying to get back into the groove as soon as possible. But today we're here to discuss about the deadline day transfers. Not the deadline day, but like basically doing a roundup of the January transfer window. For that, I have Uday from the Loudmouth Show. Uday, how you been doing?
Hey, I'm doing well here. I hope you're recovering well and looking forward to discussing the transfers with you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'm feeling much better now, though. So I'm yeah ready to ready to talk about some football now because
Yes,
basically I was
yes,
just lying down on the bed and not thinking about football. But I mean,
yep.
thankfully there was not enough football when I was sick even. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we're going to discuss all of our the transfers that happened in the January window, who won, who lost the transfer window. We'll discuss, like we'll just know like more about like what Uday thinks in terms of that. But before we proceed, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Late Winner Show. Start hitting that subscribe button if you haven't in the last month. Road to 300 still on, about 12 subscribers away from 300 subscribers. But yeah, let's begin. We'll begin with the Arsenal one. Like, I think, will you agree when I say that Arsenal was the biggest losers of the transfer window? I think they sold so many players. Pablo Mari and Aubameyang went on deadline day to Barcelona. No replacement. They were almost in talks of signing Dusan Vlahovic. The next striker that everyone's talking about. I guess like everybody had forgotten about him when we think about like, the likes of Haaland and Mbappe going to be available in this window. He came out of no, so Juventus came out of nowhere, swapped the deal, and like no, sorry, got the deal in front of right under the noses of Arsenal and paid 75 million euros. He's a Juventus man, and like we've never seen transfers between Fiorentina and Juventus because there's a lot of rivalry in between them, between the clubs. But let's go back. Let's come back to Juventus in a while. But what did you make of Arsenal's transfer window? No replacements, but just going away from the squad.
I think we should go back and contemplate about the management, who all are there in the management. I think if you see Arsenal have Edu as a technical director who had gotten a couple of players in the past couple of seasons. He's gotten Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes, and they've, to be honest, I think Arsenal ooze of a lot of creativity, but again, they are not consistent enough. They don't have leaders on the pitch at the moment. If you see, they've conceded the most red cards as well this season. But barring that, I think if we talk about the transfers, I think they've let go of Callum Chambers, who was a good fullback replacement for them in crucial times. They've let go of Maitland Niles. He's gone to Roma on loan. And again, you spoke about Aubameyang going to Barcelona on a free transfer, and even Balogun, for that matter, he's left. Um, so yeah, I think Arsenal. We were expecting Arsenal to at least relinquish their brought, and I expect them to bring on a couple of other players from other clubs, even if they have a pretty sturdy squad. But then if you've seen, they've fallen. A couple of players have succumbed to COVID, and Odegaard, Emil Smith Rowe, they were not being regulars because of again COVID being the benefactor. But yeah, I think Arsenal are maybe going to struggle because of the transfers that other clubs in the Premier League um, you know um, have signed. So yeah, I think they're going to struggle a lot this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of top four, I think that's what they are going to be targeting.
Yep.
United are there, Tottenham are there. Tottenham definitely have improved their squad on deadline day. I would say like letting the likes of Deli Ali and Tanguy Ndombele, who are basically just a squad player, basically not doing nothing in terms of team contribution, and getting two good players in terms of Bentancur and Kulusevski, who like how Conte would like to play, how Conte likes to play. I think they're a very good, yeah, they're a good enough signing to get into the top four, because we all know like Conte as a manager, he can definitely take the team into the top four with that squad. I think he must have gone to Levy's house and just let him know like, hey, I need to sign a couple of players in this transfer window. But what did you and what did you make? Let's go back, and we'll talk about like Aston Villa as well. Coutinho was like a great signing for them. They signed Luca Dean from Everton. Callum Chambers, you already talked about. Sorry, I don't know, something's going on, but I'll fix this later. Luca Dean went away. Callum Chambers came into Aston Villa squad. I think Gerrard is making his mark. If you look at the squad, if you look at how much money they spent in the summer window, how much money they spent in even the January transfer window, I think they're going all in, and maybe going for that European spot, if you look at it.
True, I think they've made a huge statement in the Premier League. Amongst all the mid-table clubs, I think Aston Villa are the one who've leveraged the most. If you see them raked and leveraged the most out of Jack Grealish's summer transfer, they've gathered the funds from there. They've dispensed and redeemed their squad in a way. Um, the coming back of Philip Coutinho into the Premier League and Luca Dean switching from Everton to getting his fullback attacking stride at the left flank for Villa Park. And the going of even El Ghazi, I felt El Ghazi was a good squad player, to be honest. He was one of the super
Mm.
subs who used to make a very penetrative mark in the final third. I think all in all, Aston Villa have gathered and nurtured a great squad. If you see, they've let go of Matt Target as well. He's gone to Newcastle, but that doesn't really mean that they will struggle as a squad. I think they have many guns who can fire from deeper positions. They've got a great sturdy midline as well, and defensively, I feel they've got Konsa Mings, and both defenders are amazing. So I have no complaints from Aston Villa. Gerrard is playing amazing. He has induced the culture and the chemistry amongst the players, which we were expecting from him. We see strides and glimpses of Klopp's philosophy in Gerrard, along with what he has done for Rangers, which was impeccable. So yeah, I think Aston Villa are on the right stride and expect them to exist somewhere in the top 8, 9, 10 positions.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think maybe a push for top six would be a little bit of a challenge right now, just given where they are right now. But I feel like a like a conference league position is where they should be, where they would be targeting at the moment, based on the squad depth and the quality players that they've actually signed in that squad. I think a lot of players are now believing in Gerard's philosophy. I think a lot of players are bought in, and I think they have a good run of fixtures at least right now, so they can actually get some wins under their belt and see like where they are in a month's time, and see where they need to go from there. But I
For sure.
think definitely some really winnable games coming up for Aston Villa. And I guess when you look at Philippe Coutinho, I think even right now, like almost for the longest time since he's left Liverpool, he's always gone on to loan and impressed. It's not working for him at Barcelona. This time the deals come around as if now they can like Aston Villa can actually buy Coutinho in the summer for 33 million, which is a good signing. I mean, it would be a good signing. Let's see like what Coutinho does in the next 4 5 months, and see where he's at. I think he can definitely. I don't think he needs to look at it as like I'm Philippe Coutinho and he need to play on the biggest of biggest clubs. Right now, his form is just terrible. He needs to rediscover that, and maybe from here, he's 29 years old, I think, so he can still perform at the highest level for 1 year, 1 or 2 seasons. He can still get a good club in the next couple of years, just to maybe say goodbye to his career. He can get that one big contract still. I think he still has it in him, and he's already shown it in the last couple of games that he's played for Aston Villa. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see where Aston Villa land up in at the end of the season. Let's move away from England and talk a little about, Spain. And in Spain, we only need to talk about one club right now, because those are that's the only club who made a little bit of a signing in Spain, which is Barcelona. Um, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on a free transfer. They started the January window with signing Ferran Torres from Man City. I guess Man City over there, I think, won. Like they won. I mean, the amount of money that they got out of Ferran Torres for selling them to Barcelona, I think that was a good deal for City. And then Adama Traore actually went to Barcelona on a loan deal from Wolves. Again, Tottenham were in the business for him, but could not get it. And I guess, like, I will get into Tottenham a bit, but in a bit. But yeah, I just feel for Tottenham. I don't know why they're not able to get any business done in any of the windows. Whenever they need someone or they need to let go of someone, it just doesn't work for them.
Right.
But Barcelona, man, they're in a rut. But if you look at the squad, and the midfield, you'll think about, Xavi, Iniesta, and all these people. They have Nico Gonzalez, they have Pedri, and they have one more player I'm forgetting. Um, but I think they don't have anyone to pass the ball to, right?
Yep.
So I don't know, like, if um like these players who they signed, so Ferran Torres, Aubameyang, they're going to make those runs, and maybe they can find someone in the box, so that ball, when they pass the ball in the box, they could actually land up in the back of the net, because that's what's happening. Like, nobody's making those runs for Barcelona, and that's what's, keeping them not scoring goals, right? But they have they for from somehow they just found, like, gems in the midfield, who are, like, very very young, 16, 17, 18 year old people, players, could definitely go and do really really good things in the next, 3-4 years. Let's see what Javi does with them. But what do you make of all these signings that Barcelona made? Do you think that they could, like, challenge for that top four? Right now they're outside top four, and given Sociedad's Betis performances, it doesn't look like, Barcelona are going to creep into that top four.
To be honest, I am again skeptical, just like you are. I share the same opinion of Barcelona because they've been struggling a lot since the past couple of seasons. I feel the inclusion of Ferran Torres, Adama Traore, and Pierre Aubameyang, together, I think they might work or might not work. Again, it's a hit and miss situation. But I know this for a fact that Ousmane Dembele and Aubameyang were teammates in Dortmund, and they have connected a couple of times, to take the maximum out of the team. Again, I am not sure of Dembele. He's again going to be running out of contract by the end of the summer. So I'm a little skeptical there too. I think he might join a new club, and he was supposed to depart from Barcelona and join United, but
Mm.
that failed as well. But let's just talk about a bit about Barcelona. I feel Aubameyang, he's come of age. He's 32. He's already crossed his prime, which is why I think he stopped firing for Arsenal. And again, it was Premier League was taking a bit too much from him. He used to perform well in the first maybe 45, 60 minutes, and then he used to wither away for the next couple of matches, which is again, we don't expect this from the likes of Aubameyang. If you compare Aubameyang and Giroud, people still rated Aubameyang more than Giroud, and Giroud has done wonders not only for Arsenal, he's done wonders for Chelsea, he's doing wonders for Roma, he's done so much so
A-
in each and every
AC
club.
Milan.
Sorry, AC Milan, yeah. So yeah, I think it's just that we don't really know how to rate the footballers as they come and go.
Mm.
You spoke about Coutinho as well. His valuation dropped massively from 140 million when he joined Barcelona to what, 30 million right now,
Yeah.
which is very absurd.
Yeah.
And again, this reminds me of Jack Wilshere, how unlucky he has been. He's still training with Arsenal. But if you look at Jack Wilshere and Coutinho's graph, it's somewhat similar. So yeah, I think Barcelona may or may not fire, but to be honest, they don't still have a strong foundation. They still need someone in the centre midfield. Sergio Busquets is coming of age as well. He's one of the most senior veterans they have. They've got Gavi, they've got Pedri, they've got PK who's coming of age as well. He might retire in the next couple of seasons. They've got Raul Areola, who's a decent defender. I don't rate him that high. Um, so yeah, all in all, Barcelona don't look as strong as the prime Barcelona that we've been accustomed to watching in the past couple of seasons. I think it should be Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, making the fireworks and proving it again that they are the La Liga giants. And
I, I,
Barcelona,
I don't know about Atletico Madrid because Atletico Madrid themselves are lying, fifth or sixth in the table. I think Sevilla are second right now. Betis and I think sorry, Sociedad and I think Betis are occupying that third and fourth position. So
yeah,
I'm not really sure about Atletico at the moment. Then they've not been able to turn around their form. But I agree. I think Barcelona. I think and even like with the positions that they with the position that they're in terms of like financially, we all know like they're in a rut.
yeah,
Um, it doesn't look like I mean, sorry, no. I think this is the only way they could go. Like, see where they have free transfers available, and they could just sign players like these. But I guess like what you said about like even Premier League taking the toll on Aubameyang. I think he could do wonder. He could do well in a club like Barcelona at Spain, because I mean
yeah,
I don't know how much La Liga you watch, but like La Liga is pretty like a high line game, right? Like every other team is just playing a high line in La Liga. So it's easier definitely to score goals because there is a lot more counter attacks that happen. So I mean, Aubameyang still has pace. It's not like he's old. He can he definitely has like a couple of seasons left in him to do good at Barcelona. And I guess like when you think about Torres, Adama Traore, and Aubameyang, Torres can definitely play like up front, where in City against it at City he was playing that. Aubameyang can play on the left. Traore can play as the right winger. So there are like there are I'm seeing like maybe there might be good things that might happen for Barcelona in the next second half of the season, but let's see what this represents. It doesn't a good signing doesn't have to mean that it does good for the club itself. So but
exactly.
let's see what happens for Barcelona. I'm definitely excited, but I don't really want to see Barcelona finishing 8th, ninth, even though I hate that club. But I like Barcelona are giants of the footballing nation, and players like Gavi, like you mentioned, Gavi, Pedri, and Nico Gonzalez, everyone. They need to experience that Champions League football. I mean, I want to see them play in a Champions League night against the likes of Bayern Munich, even though they were shit in the both the legs. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but I would want like next season still to be there. Barcelona should still be there. I think that they deserve to be in that competition.
for sure.
Um, let's move on to Tottenham. We were
Yeah,
discussing a little bit about Tottenham, but Conte, we all know, like he's done. He started his club career well at Tottenham. He's doing well with whatever squad he had. He has rediscovered Tottenham's Harry Kane's form. He's like running around and actually trying to make sure that he is in the goal scoring positions, where in against when Nuno was there, I think he was just, I really don't care.
yeah,
Play whatever you want, but I'm not going to score any goals. It was just that kind of like thing that was happening with Harry Kane. But now he's rediscovered his form. Son's gonna come back. We heard some things the day before that Son's come back on training, so that's a good news for Tottenham. Kulusevski has definitely come in, so he can definitely have a say in that in those super subs. When I'm guessing Lucas Moura will start as the right winger, but and Kulusevski can play as a right winger as well. So he definitely is. He can cut inside and play and shoot with his left foot. But he's not like you can call him kind of a Gareth Bale, but he doesn't have that pace and definitely does not have that shooting power where what Gareth Bale had. But
yeah,
he's definitely been he's definitely there. You can definitely compare him to Gareth Bale.
for sure.
Rodrigo Bentancur was also signed, who I think will is a good signing, because I mean he doesn't really contribute too much into the attack, but I don't think uh, Tottenham need too much any more attacking players. I think whatever they have, I think 4 players or 5 players in terms of attack. I think those are good enough at the moment for the remainder of the season. I think what I struggled to see in the last few games, that was defensively against the bigger teams. When they played against City, they played, sorry, no, not City. I think Chelsea. Sorry, when they played against Chelsea, you could see that there's some kind of a defensive issue, right? Even though
Yeah,
Conte has been definitely able to fix some of the issues that they were having at the start of the season. But I think Bentancur would sit, just between the defenders, and and you could see that, him protecting those defenders from any, defensive lapse. So good,
Sure.
two good signings. Tang and Dombele leaving, which is also a good thing, and then Deli Ali, we spoke about, like, those are two, like, squad players who would basically do nothing for contribution as of contribution to the team. What do you make of those signings, those two signings for Tottenham, and then can they finish in the top four right now? If you look at it, yes, they have a lot of games in hand. They basically head they're actually in the top four. If you look at it, I mean, if they win their respective games, if they win their, game in hands. But what do you make of the signings?
I think what Tottenham really lacked without the players that they've included this time round in the January transfer window was, again, consistency and competition within the squad internally. Consistency coming from not dominating games in the middle of the park, despite having the likes of Hoiberg, Lo Celso, who's already departed again on loan. You spoke about Ndombele, who actually I really liked the player. He was very creative when he started off for Tottenham under Jose Mourinho, but he sort of withered away, and he became a squad player. But again, if you talk about the likes of Lucas Moura plus Bentancur, who's again going to be a very commanding presence, we need someone in the centre midfield. Tottenham needs someone in the centre mid position who can actually win the balls for them, just like Fabinho can, and establish his presence in the middle of the park and try playing the possession-based model, which Conte really likes. But he's also a person who likes fast-paced, high-tempo game where he can decimate teams with the help of his countering transitions. So I feel Conte again spoke a couple of years back about his 5-3-2 regime, which again is a very hybrid formation where people said he likes defending a lot, but I don't think he likes defending a lot, to be honest, because he focuses more on sturdiness and attack at the same time. So this is where Bentancur and even Kulusevski, if he gets the opportunity to start for Tottenham, he might just induce little internal competition amongst Son, who's again firing amazing guns for Tottenham, and Harry Kane. Harry Kane again, his role has been very skeptical because I have seen him play in a much deeper position again for Conte. He's been letting his wingers Lucas Moura, Son go ahead and become the hybrid strikers. Um, I still feel Son is a better, player this season than Harry Kane has been. Lucas Moura, as usual, he punches above his weight. He's done amazing even at the age he's at the moment. So you can rightfully compare him to Gareth Bale, but I still feel Gareth Bale is a much proven winger, a much
Mm,
proven forward. But having said that, I think Tottenham do hold enough capacity to feature in the top four. Maybe I'm not sure, but this is just because of Conte being there. I think his credibility speaks volumes for the impact and the work that he has done for Tottenham. Tottenham, he commented in one of them twice in the pre and the post match conferences that he feels that the squad is not star study enough. He doesn't feel the squad can live up to the expectations of being a top two, top three club in Europe, and he needs to work on the players further to ensure that they are competing with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City, and they're far off from that. So yeah, I think that's I've summarized what I feel about Tottenham.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we should move on to the other club. What do you think about Everton? I felt we should talk a bit about Dele Alli and the likes of El Ghazi coming into Everton and Luca Digne departing from Everton. What do you have to say about
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even if you, I mean, if you look at it, like, they signed the manager even on deadline day. Frank Lampard was announced on deadline day. So I obviously think the signings that they made, I think Frank Lampard definitely had a say in those signings. I'm definitely excited about the signings that they made. It's just the position that Everton are in, is just it's scary right now. Like, how can Lampard actually fix Everton at the moment? It's just hard to see with the likes of, Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin still already in the squad. Demari Gray is been playing well for the season. They have a really good, they have a good squad. I wouldn't say they have a really good squad. They have a good squad who shouldn't be, like, languishing in 17th position in the Premier League. But I think, like, if you look at it, I think it was time to go for what's his name,
Rafa Benitez?
Benitez. Yeah, I think he was doing nothing at the club. It was basically like losing pretty much every game, and I think the Norwich game basically was the deal for him, that I think he should leave. But talking about signings, I think Dele Alli on they've I think they've bought Dele Alli, which is a good signing. I think let's see what Lampard can do. I don't really have anything to say about Lampard just because uh what he's been in the management for what 2 years, and I've not really seen any kind of like tactical analysis from listen, sorry, not analysis, but like tactically like anything from him. So I can't really sit here and say that this is what Lampard does, this is how he plays, this is what he does. And the only thing that I've actually seen from him is he imparts his knowledge into the youth. He gets youth playing into the club. So
Yeah,
you see the players that are in Everton. Basically, everyone's a young player right now. So I think that might play into Everton's hands, and let's see what happens. I'm really excited about what he does with Dele Alli, what he does with Donny van de Beek. We already know like Van de Beek is a good player. It's just we've not seen him play in the Premier League. So let's see when he gets a run of games. And I think I joked about this even. Like, I think when he signed the contract for loan as well, like I think he said it to Lampard that if you sub me for 1 minute, I'm going to kill you. So I think he wants to get as much game time as possible before he goes back to Man United after
yeah,
the loan ends. But man, I think this is his chance, Van de Beek's chance to shine. He needs to show to Man United that hey, I am a good player, and I when I come back to after the loan, I really deserve a chance to be in the team. It's the same as what Lingard did at West
true.
Ham in the summer window. I think he just needs to show that there is, Van de Beek is a player who was nominated for Ballon d'Or, a couple of years ago. So he needs to just show that to Man United, the hierarchy, the managers, or the manager who's going to come in next. I really don't even want to get into United right now because I'll just get frustrated. because, but yeah, but the signings that they made, I think Nathan Patterson from Rangers, they signed him. I think
Yeah,
there was a one from Ukraine, a left back. I can't remember his name. I think Victor someone. I can't remember his name. Um, so that, and I think one more player they
El
signed, El
Ghazi,
Ghazi.
El Ghazi, yeah,
El Ghazi, yeah. So that's a good squad player as well for Everton. I think they're basically out of every competition except the FA Cup. I think, yeah, FA Cup. I think they're still playing in the FA Cup. So let's see if they can make a deep run in the cup. I think that's their only chance right now of having any kind of silver. But yeah, Mushiri spent like so much money, 500 million
yeah,
pounds since he came in. Their new stadium is about to get ready. I think this all needs to work out for him. Like, I just feel like Everton fans are getting impatient now. Like, I think there's so much money spent on the squad itself every year,
yeah,
but the club is basically going nowhere. They've made their punts on like two respectable managers, Carlo Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez. Nothing work. I wouldn't say that Ancelotti did not work, because it did. I mean, I guess like it did work. If you would have given him a second season, which is the ongoing season, I think he would have done good with the club. I think it's just, yeah, it was a sad way that he left, because like Madrid job opened up, he was
yeah,
called upon, and he left. But really excited about the signings. I think Van de Beek, Dele Alli, El Ghazi definitely can impact Everton in a good way. I think right now, I think if you look at it, they really don't have a good enough midfield, good enough
yeah.
attacking players, but they don't really have any creative players. So where Dele Alli and Van de Beek might come into play, which are two good, definitely two good signings. A lot of people have been saying, I've been reading around, like, yeah, Van de Beek might not still get enough time. Let's see what he does. I think Dele Alli and Van de Beek are two players that automatically go into the playing 11. I don't see, if you're getting a player on loan and then still telling him to sit on the bench. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think that's how it worked. Like, it's not Man United, to be very honest.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. I'm excited about Everton signings and seeing, like, what their remaining 19 games, whatever, like 16, 17 games left in the season. Let's see what happens with them.
But
But
I think if I talk about Everton, I see Frank Lampard using his philosophy of what he used in Chelsea wasn't
yeah,
really very different from what Tuchel showed, to be honest. But apart from that, I think his retrieval rate, his recovery rate was poor than what we have seen from the German managers. which is where I think he'll be focusing more on the likes of Dele Alli and Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin to be the front three focal points if they let Dele Alli lead the squad in a way, because he does have a senior presence, and we have seen Dele Alli has worked well for Tottenham in traces and sparks here and there. But apart from that, I think their defense is still a major question mark because we have seen the likes of Michael Keane and even the Colombian defender, I forgot his name,
Yerimina.
Yeremina. Yeah, they've been on and off too pretty much throughout the season. We've seen Holgate and the likes of Ben Godson, who's tried his best to show that he's a very sturdy defender who can surge ahead, just like the Sheffield United players used to do that. He surges ahead, goes and takes the headers and all that stuff. He tries to decimate the front lines of the opposition. But as of late, he's been a victim of various foolish errors and unforced errors, which has made him look very bad in the first half of the Premier League as well.
Yeah.
So I feel Everton need to find their foundation, and they need a manager, to be honest, who plays attacking football, because I think Frank Lampard is definitely going to make a very heavy impact with the likes of Dele Alli and even Donny Van de Beek. You've spoken about him. If Donny Van de Beek works well with them in whatever position he wants to play, I think he'll work well with them in a maybe a left mid position or an attacking mid position. He's mostly a center midfielder.
I don't think that it would work for him. The cam role, I think cam role would work perfectly for Dele Alli, not for Van de Beek. I think Van de Beek is much more suited for a
Deeper position.
center
Right.
midfielder role. Yeah.
Yeah, he connects well within a deeper position as well. But I've seen his creativity as well. He's quick with his feet, so which is why I think I would not write him off when it comes to the attacking positions as well. I think Donny Van de Beek is still yet to prove his presence in the Premier League, and United haven't given him enough opportunities to do that. So
I I always give him a chance in my FIFA team. So even though I mean FIFA is FIFA though. Yeah.
But let's just
um,
move on
let-
to the
let's
Merseyside rival, Liverpool. What do you
yeah.
think about the only transfer that Liverpool have signed, Luis Diaz?
I
He's
think it's a good signing, right? Well, I mean, if you, I mean, to be very honest, when they announced the signing, and I was not expecting any signing for Liverpool this January window, and I'm like, so Salah has been reported on AFCON saying that he wants to stay with the club. Okay, I'm like,
yeah,
okay, so maybe Liverpool will do something. By the time he comes back from AFCON, he'll have a deal ready. He'll just sign the contract and be done
yeah.
with it. And then they announced the signing, and I'm like, oh, okay. So what is Liverpool trying to do here? Are they sending Salah a message that, hey, whatever you're demanding, we can't pay you that much, and you're free to leave? His 1 year contract, contract is left. After this season,
Yeah.
I'm thinking if he doesn't sign a contract this season, he leaves. I'm not. I don't think Liverpool will let him go because the season that he's having still, Liverpool can still easily ask for 100 million pounds, and anybody will be happy to pay for that. Like it's basically what
For sure. For sure.
Mbappe's value is. I think easily. Like if he was having a mediocre season, yes, maybe you could have sold him for 60 million or something like that, 50 or 60 million. He could have easily been sold for that. But I think the season that he's having, easily 100 million pound is still less. I feel with the way that he's performing. Um, Sorry, got into Salah mode, but yeah, Luis Diaz. I think a great signing. I think what we saw against Porto itself when Liverpool played in the Champions League. He's a good signing. He's a good fast player. Really, gets inside. If you look at it in terms of like, I think he's a Mane replacement, right? Because I think he plays on the left wing side. If I'm
He
not.
I feel he's more of a left wing come striker because he
Yeah,
loves getting into the game from the left side. But
yeah,
I still feel, look, when you talk about Liverpool as a squad, I understand we have many attackers now. We've got Firmino, Jota, Salah, Mane. But I still think this player will definitely induce more competition because we don't want people like Origi and Minamino, being relied on when these people leave for AFCON or other competitions. Liverpool have done a great job by signing this person. And I just feel Luis Diaz has made an impact against Liverpool in the Champions League, which is where he got, Klopp really saw him play against Liverpool, and he wanted him because he was surging ahead with his entire brutal force. He was again very, very quick and very pacey, and he was confident when he was playing against Liverpool, which is where I felt they made the right decision, man.
No,
He's
I totally agree with your point that some of the signings that clubs make is just based just because of like they want to induce competition into the squad.
true,
They
but
and if you look at it, like Mane has been shit for a better part of more than a season. He's been shit. He's not been doing really well, and
yeah,
because
I mean,
and I just feel that's one of the reasons, because he knows that there's no competition. Salah is obviously elevating his game season after season after season, right? Mane started the season really well. I mean, started his season at Liverpool really well, but he's been on the decline. He's not really improving. And you expect a player like Mane should improve. He gets so many fucking chances in the
yeah,
game, but he never finishes. I don't know
true.
what's going on with this finishing itself.
See,
Jota, he's been signed. He played as a left winger, but then Klopp started playing him as a central striker. So central striker now. Firmino comes and goes because of his injuries, and then sometimes Firmino just plays behind Jota. Sometimes they swap their positions.
yeah.
So it's 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 a good signing because it induces competition, but that also brings me to the point that what happens to Salah in the summer window, just because
Uh,
I'm not seeing any kind of um what's the word, but like um
I mean,
any kind of any kind of that thing from Liverpool, that hey, we want to make Salah our priority for the summer, and we will make it by letting players go. If he's demanding that wage and Liverpool cannot pay, I don't know that story behind
right.
Liverpool,
But I
but
feel this is
but
a
but
no.
that's the thing that I'm thinking about.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I feel this is a
No.
no-brainer to be honest, because I feel Mohamed Salah is not going to. Um, he's going to be starting in each and every game, regardless of Luis Diaz coming into the scene. Even if that means that maybe Mane has to sit on the bench, I still feel Salah will be played throughout the season. He will not. Klopp will not compromise on Salah at all because he's been the best player for us, including Diogo Jota. These two players have been firing for us all season, and they've been the wonders in the attacking department.
No,
Um,
no, no. I'm not saying in terms of game time. I
yeah,
was saying in terms of like the squad, like what
right.
happens to Salah in summer, as if like does he leave the squad now just because
I don't
he's been
think so,
pretty
man.
vocal about it that he needs this much wages, and Liverpool or also have also said that they are not ready to pay that much amount. I think it's somewhere close to 440,000 pounds a week. I think Liverpool don't want to pay that much money for for
To be
for
honest, FSG has enough money to cover all their wages. It's just that they don't choose to cover their wages is another opinion that they hold, right? But I still feel like you've spoken rightfully that Salah might leave because of again more attacking players coming into the squad. But this is what Klopp had always spoken about. He wanted to build a squad one day which had enough attackers for him to compensate in case someone gets injured. And Liverpool have just been thriving on the front three since the past so many seasons. We got Diogo Jota in the summer transfer window. We've got Luis Diaz now. So I think Liverpool is looking at the bigger picture. Look, let's be honest. At some point of time, Mane and Salah might depart in the next season or two, and even if one of them stays, it'll be glory for us. But I still feel this signing is more of a visionary signing. It's not in the moment signing. It's more of a long term plan that Klopp had in his head. But
yeah.
apart from that, we had our eyes on Fabio Carvalho from Fulham. He was supposed to be a great signing as well, but we missed his signature on the deadline day because of the time lapse. Time was against us, and we couldn't sign him. And he was very disappointed as well because he wanted to play for
Yeah,
Liverpool.
that's like, and it's funny that how often this is now happening. Like almost every window, something like this happens. Almost, if you look back at to the Chelsea deal as well, like when Saul Niguez was coming back on, I think it was something like that. It's like the deal finally happened, but it was something like that, and then David De Gea to Real Madrid. That is also what happened. Like paperwork did not go through or something, right? I
Yeah,
don't know like why this it's a regular thing right now in transfer window. Like when, on the deadline day, it usually happens. The one or the other deal will be like this, like where paperwork is not ready, it doesn't go through. But yeah, I've seen. I've been following Fulham in the championship. In the championship, I've been following two teams, Fulham and Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been definitely doing well. Fulham, I think, are top of the table at the moment.
Yeah,
If
they are.
Carvalho has been really doing really well. I think, and as you correctly pointed out, I think Carvalho was on Klopp's radar for a long while. It's
He
not
was.
as if it just came in here. I think Carvalho I think what I read was that Klopp wanted him right now, or otherwise he was never going to go in for him in the summer now. That's what I've heard. Because I think Fulham are doing so well, and he's been the main, like he's been one of the important players for them, doing so well for Fulham. I think a lot more clubs will be in for him, and maybe if they get promoted, you never know. Like Carvalho's rate might go up. He might not want to leave. He might just want to stay another season with Fulham. Let's see like what happens with Fulham in the Premier League. So
Yep.
those are that can be like a couple of stories for Fulham, and see like what for Carvalho, and see let's see what happens. But I think definitely if you look at it, Liverpool have missed out on because if you look at it even from squad perspective, we've talked about it on our podcast and number of times.
Yep.
Liverpool squad depth is not there, and this was another squad player that would have helped them, right? In the bigger games that are going to come up in the later part of the season.
For
But
sure.
let's talk about Juventus.
Yep.
I know we need to talk about Dusan Vlahovic. What
Yep.
a deal! What a signing for Juventus. They had been, and I think I did a mid-season review with one of our close friends, in the Hopeless Wanderer podcast, Adam Kipke. He's an Inter Milan fan, and we talked about it. We talked about Dusan Vlahovic on our podcast in detail, and asked him, like, where do you really think? And this was just before the transfer window even started. But where do you really think Vlahovic might land up? I asked him the question because I never thought about this, but I just asked him, like, do you think like he might stay in Italy and maybe sign for a club like Juventus? And he was very vocal about, like, that's never going to happen. And that's exactly what happened.
Hmm.
When Juventus signed Vlahovic. I think it's a great signing. If you look at where Juventus were when Ronaldo left, you could clearly see that Juventus weren't able to replace Ronaldo's goals. And that's one of the reasons they were able to win one of the seasons. When Ronaldo was there, the Scudetto, and then the next season they were able to finish in the top four because of Ronaldo's goals. Um, but when the season started, they struggled so much. You felt like, oh, this is not going to work out this season, and they might just miss out on top four, Champions League. All these players, they might go away. Juventus might have to start rebuilding again. But they signed Zakaria, a good CDM, and Vlahovic. We
Yep.
all know what he's done at Fiorentina for the last few seasons. He's the top scorer right now in Serie A. I think he scored 16 goals in 19 games. Prolific striker. Everybody forgot about him when Mbappe's and Haaland's name was coming up in this upcoming transfer window, because we all know, like, Haaland is eventually going to move with the 65 million pound release clause getting activated. Mbappe is on a free transfer. Nobody was talking about Vlahovic. He's now signed for Juventus, a really good young striker that Juventus has got. They can build around him. Juventus let go for a couple of players as well. Rangers, sorry, Aaron Ramsey to Rangers. Bentancur and Kulusevski, we already talked about who went to Tottenham. So good, I think good let goes as well for Juventus to free up that wage bill and cover up for these two signings, because these are two important signings that Juventus, I think, needed at this moment of time.
For sure. I feel Dusan Vlahovic has been again a miss for the Premier League clubs because he was always on the radar of so many clubs, especially Arsenal. Arsenal had given a positive feedback from their end about the player. They had made a bid for him, but it's so surprising that even before he joined Juventus, he actually agreed to, be stay at Fiorentina and make a mark over there.
Mm.
But I still feel having disregarded Arsenal's proposal means something because Arsenal are still in the rebuilding phase where they have actually found their guns finally, and they've started resonating with the old, way of Arsene Wenger's philosophy of playing football and enjoying it. I still think he should have considered the Arsenal move, because if he would have been a gunner, I think he would have been firing guns, heavy guns from behind, and he would have done very well with Arsenal. I don't see why he couldn't, he didn't agree to that transfer. But nonetheless, I think Juventus are definitely going to make the most out of these signings. Um, though I think Juventus have regressed in the past couple of seasons after Paulo, Dybala, Ronaldo, these players, they sort of Ronaldo was still performing for them, but Dybala stopped performing and he became a squad player, which was
Hmm.
surprising to see. But yeah, I think Juventus are still on the right stride. They will always be the Serie A giants, and there's nothing that can stop them. Um,
Do you think they can finish in top four now?
Obviously, I think they can. Looking at the standing right now, I think they can definitely finish in the top four. That's nothing. I'm not. That's a no-brainer. Even if they go down the way they've lost a couple of matches in the past too, I don't think that this is going to bring them down at all. This signing is definitely going to make a heavy mark, a huge mark for them. And with the likes of, like you spoke about, Cuadrado running out of contract as well. He's in Juventus, right?
Yes.
So he's still been a great player for Juventus, and he's come of age as well. But I think they may or may not sign him. They may extend his contract, but I still feel that Juventus as a squad are mature in a way, but they've regressed massively. Looking at how they are the old lady nurturing the oldest players in the sport, and yeah, I think they really need a couple of more young signings. I think they are on the right stride. They're on the right path.
Yeah, I think. Do you, this is maybe a long shot question, but do you think they can win the title now with Vlahovic's goals?
That's look. I think yeah. I think Juventus have always been the club after the Milan derbies to where they were always the next contender after the Milan teams to win to win the title. After AC Milan and Inter Milan's rivalry sort of you know transgressed. I think Juventus were the next big name who have been winning the title consecutively in the past 10 years. And yeah, I think this season two, I think they should win the title ideally, but I'm not too sure. Looking at the rest of the fixtures, they still have around 18 to 17 fixtures yet to be played. So I think that's going to speak volumes for
Yeah.
what sort of
I
performance
mean,
they're given.
and I mean, like Inter Milan. I think Inter Milan play AC Milan and Napoli in their next two. I think, and Juventus are what, I don't remember exactly the table. I think they're like what, 10 or 12 points behind. If Inter Milan drop points in the next two games and Juventus can win, I think Juventus definitely should be able to win their next two. I think the next game is against Venezia, I think. So they
True.
should be, yeah, they should be able to win. Let's see what happens in that window, in that table. So it's a long shot, to be very honest. I don't think like Inter has to drastically drop points to actually even for anybody to actually be in that title. I think Inter Milan are definitely favorites at the
So
moment.
the thing is, Inter Milan were favorites last season too. Looking at how Lukaku and
Yeah.
I forgot Lotero
Yeah.
Martinez was scoring
Yeah.
goals for them, but they didn't win it, right?
No, they won it. Inter
Oh
Milan
yeah,
won
sorry,
the
they
the
didn't
Europa,
win.
yeah.
They didn't win the Europa. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, I think Juventus. Yeah, I think looking at the current standing, they are still 10 points behind the league leaders. They've got Atalanta over them, which is sort of it's insulting. But I still feel that with this signing, they are definitely going to make a huge comeback in the second half of the season. We still have a lot to watch. We've got a lot to watch in
Yeah, I mean,
Serie A.
I'm definitely going to be watching Juventus's next game. I've been following Juventus this season a lot. A lot of the games have been like at a good decent time for me to be able to watch here in the US. But let's see what happens. For Juventus the
Right.
remaining of the remainder of the season. Let's
Yep.
quickly talk about a couple of more transfers that happened. Julian Alvarez, who was signed by Man City. I think, again, if you look at it from City's perspective, they won the transfer window again, I think. Because they let go, they made so much money out of it. They're top of the league without a number 9. Now they've signed a number 9. They were almost going to pay almost 10 or 11 or 12 times more amount, that money that they've paid for Julian Alvarez, in the name of Harry Kane. They did not get him. They're still top of the league. Julian Alvarez has joined back to River Plate on loan. He'll come back and in the as a City player in the from the summer.
Yep.
But what a great signing! Like, he's young, he's quick, he's really good in on his feet. He can shoot the ball well. Great signing, I think. He and The good thing is Pep Guardiola is not leaving until for another 2 years. He can really develop under him, and
Yeah,
from there, Pep again leaves his legacy behind. But he builds the future. He builds the future for the team. So whoever takes in as the next manager for City, and again, like we don't know at the moment, like if Pep's actually going to leave. Right now, he's not signed his extension, so we're saying that he might leave. And he's been vocal about it. He said that yeah, he doesn't want to coach anymore City
right.
after 2024. But
I think, yeah.
but what about Julian Alvarez? What do you think about Julian Alvarez?
Look, I've actually watched him play for Liverpool, to be honest, in the cup matches I've seen him play. Very evident how his movement, his hold on the ball, his control with the ball, his feet are quick, and he's again remarked as one of the futsal players. To be honest, he is the
Yeah.
players who can actually play futsal as well. So
Hmm.
I think Pep really I had an eye on him. But the reason why he's being asked to come in the summer as well is because Pep knows for a reason that he already has so many attacking players who can fire guns for him, so he wouldn't really get an opportunity in Manchester City, would he, if he actually joins them at this point of time? Even in the
I mean,
summer
unless
window, I feel,
unless unless Pep Guardiola decides that he wants to play a number nine.
yeah, maybe. But then too, I don't think he's going to be one of the reliable City players. We are yet to see him. Look
Hmm.
what happened to Jayden Sancho. We thought he'd be a big signing for United. What happened to him? He couldn't. He's still struggling to, match the physical presence on the pitch. So I think Julian
But
Alvarez.
is it really him, or is it someone else?
I think Jadon Sancho was very overrated, to be honest, because Bundesliga was all about playing open football, end-to-end football. Uh, Playing in the Premier League, I think Jadon Sancho struggled. I'll tell you why. Because if he sees an open space in front of him, he'll attack. If he sees a defender in front of him, he
Oh no,
finds it
no, no,
more
no, no.
difficult to dribble past
I'm
him.
I'm not talking about United on the podcast.
Bro, I'm
Not.
just making one point that he struggles to get past defenders. Greenwood, who's joined Prison FC now, he was better than Jadon Sancho. At least he used to get past defenders. He had a good trickery this season. We've shown he's shown us that he has amazing trickery. But sadly, he's been busy molesting women here and there, and he's gone to prison. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I again, I think if I talk about United, I'll go on a 20-minute rant, which I really don't want to at the moment because I'm super
yeah.
pissed and tired at the same time. So yeah,
But let's just move on to Newcastle. I feel we have a lot to talk about
yeah.
players.
Newcastle. I mean, what do you really like? We all expected Newcastle to spend money. They said openly that they were going to spend at least 200 million. They had 200 million to spend in January. They spent about 91 million in transfer budget. Who all did they sign? They signed Trippier. They started with Trippier, who was a really good defender from Atletico Madrid. They signed Chris Wood. They signed Bruno Guimaraes, a 44 million midfielder from Olympic Lyon, and then they signed Matt Target on deadline day on a 6 month loan. Right?
Yeah,
I think all of them are good signings. I would say, to be very honest, I don't know a lot about Bruno Guimaraes, but he's Brazilian, so I can say that he will possess some good footballing talent in him. And then I've watched him a couple of times playing for Lyon when I watched the PSG games. I watched him play for Lyon. He's a good midfielder. I mean, you look at what midfielder right now, Newcastle has. It's definitely an upgrade. You have John Joe Shelby, who's
yeah,
a decent midfielder. Yes, like playing in a Newcastle, but right now Newcastle are not Newcastle. They're
true,
they're going to be a totally different club in the next 2 years. So they need these type of players in their squad, and that's why I think they have signed for them as well. I think they can survive. They can survive the drop. Uh, they have good signings. Oh, sorry. And yeah, sorry. They have good signings who can make impact in the games. But let's see how quickly all these players can gel, and how can Eddie Howe integrate everyone into this team. Because
true,
yes, all of the players that they have right now, it's an upgrade on their current positions. And they needed one striker, they needed one midfielder who could control the game, they needed a good right back, which they have now. And Chris Wood, we talked about, like he's a good header of the ball. Trippier and Matt Target are good deliveries, a good put players who can put good deliveries into the box. He can finish the ball into the back of the net. I'm not saying that they're now going to start, defeating the likes of Man City or Liverpool or or Chelsea, but they can easily defeat in the clubs like Everton, the clubs like Southampton, which they were losing to, right? The clubs like Norwich. So, and those are the games that they need to win because if they need to survive the draw, and I think they can. I think they can do it. But let's see when the Premier League comes about in the next week, next few days. Let's see like how Newcastle do. But
Like
what's your take on that?
my take on Newcastle is very direct, and I think they again spent around 93 million total on all these signings. But I feel they have overvalued these players. The valuation, the bids that they've made. Chris Ford is not a 30 million signing. Bruno is not a 44, 43 million signing. He's coming in from Leon. Come on, we don't know how he'll play in the Premier League. Um, these
But but
the
but that
problem
is
is,
the case, right? Like when people know clubs know that you have money, you will ask, right? If you're rich, I
that's
will know
true, but
like yeah,
then
you can pay this amount,
the
this
problem
amount.
is with the transfer negotiations that have happened from Newcastle's end. If they had a reliable transfer manager, they would have definitely made value these signings for a smaller amount. Chris
Hmm.
Wood is, I would value him at 18, 19 million max. Um,
Oh,
when
for
it
sure.
comes to when it comes to Bruno, I'll value him maybe at 30, 32 max to max, not 40, 44. They have just splurged money out just because they have Saudi owners now. They splurged money out like anything. They shouldn't have done that. They could have had better players for 10, 12 million. They could have had players like Nat Phillips, Reece Williams.
I
I fail to understand why Newcastle would not focus on getting in better defenders. They've got Trippier, who's coming in from Atletico. Um, but we still don't compare Trippier to the likes of other great right backs, do we?
I back
We've got so many right backs now who have been playing amazing for in PSG, Liverpool, City, so many other clubs. We've seen all these right backs. Trippier is still above average. He's a good attacking addition to the squad, but I still feel Trippier somehow struggles in terms of consistency. But having said that, I think Chris Wood again, massive addition to the front line. He'll be the one. He'll be treated as a focal point of the attack. He's a targetsman for Burnley. He's shown us that he's scored so many goals. I'm expecting him to do the same, but he's more of a sudden death situation. He acts as a emergency player. He's not a player who will give you the consistent, attacks ahead. He's not that pacey. He has good aerial control. He's not a very great dribbler either. So I think they should focus maybe on having Callum Wilson and Chris Wood playing ahead as number two, number nines. They should go in for a 4-4-2 where they have Saint Maximin playing right behind Chris Wood and Callum Wilson. And they already have Alvarez, who's a great surger ahead. He's already played Almiron, who's played for them for 2, 3 seasons now, and he's an amazing addition.
Yeah.
So I feel you spoke about John Joe Shelby being disregarded and bringing in Bruno will definitely help them in being more mobile because I've seen him play for Leon. He surges ahead from deeper positions, and 3, 4 defenders were on the trail. They were all trying to catch. They were trying to catch him up, but they couldn't. So I think we've seen this in plenty of games. His aerial ability is also pretty
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah, and I feel like Bruno might I felt like at the moment when he signed for Newcastle, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, like Brazilian, nobody speaks Portuguese. Is he coming to England? Will he be able to sorry, will he be able to gel into the squad? But then you thought about it, and then you find out that Joe Linton is actually part of the squad, so he's a Brazilian. He definitely speaks Portuguese. So that's a good way, like that someone is there that he can talk to if he is having any issues. If you look back at Leon, obviously there's a bunch of Brazilians over there. I think Diaby is a Brazilian as well. So or not. No, I guess
Diaby is a French
he was
footballer.
a French player. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, but there were I think a couple of French Brazilian players in the Lyon squad where he was okay with that. So it's I think what I said, I'm going to repeat. I don't want to repeat myself, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's a good. They've made good signings. What you said, I agree with that as well. That they have overpaid for the stuff. But
Yeah.
I think in this era that we're living in, I think money is for transfers. I think it's just. is just a number now. Like, I think, do you really think like Maguire was worth 80 million pounds? No, like it's not. It's not that. It's not that era that we're living in. That the player that is actually valued at, he actually gets paid, because there's so much fucking money in the Premier League, that and now that Saudi owners have come in, everybody knows that they have money, like what, like 10 times or 10 times richer than City. So I mean, yeah, I mean, if they have money, they'll spend it. It's fine. Like, I don't think that was an issue. They were anyway. It was, even if they had asked 50 million, they would have done that. But the thing that I've read about Newcastle is that they want to follow City's footsteps. They don't want to, um, you know, build their success on their own. They want to follow what's a winning winning way, that City's already winning foundation that City's already built. They want to do things like that. If you look at City's transfer business, wage structure, even, it's really good. And I was comparing it to United. Like, United just give money out of, like, love. Like, we have money, just come and take it. Whatever you want, we'll give it to you.
Yes.
That's what United do. I mean, Jack Grealish is an English player. He already played in England. He did so well in Aston Villa. He's only earning 240,000 a week, or
Yeah.
220,000 a week. You know how much Jayden Sancho is earning? 340,000 a week.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Like, when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, this is where United lose. This is why, and this is why United lose in the
But
games, because we
before
pay
we
so much money. We pay so much money to these players who we don't even know are they're going to perform, and then we're stuck with 5 years for the same player who's not even performing. And why would he leave? Because he's already getting paid so much money. He knows that if he goes anywhere, if he terminates his contract, he goes anywhere, he's not going to get that much money. Why would he go?
right.
Alexis Sanchez is the real example of that blunder deal that they did 2 years ago.
Right. Before we get on to United, I just want to say one last thing that Newcastle, I hope they escape relegation. I don't want them to get into League One either. I would expect them to stay in the Premier League, and I hope teams like Norwich and Burnley they descend down to the relegation. But having that said, I think I would like to talk about United's transfer who would be going out. I think Pogba will be departing the club, maybe for free. We never know. Maybe maybe they'll re-sign him and they might let him go after that or something of that. So I don't know what he'll sign in for or what he'll do. Apart from that, I think United have lost their way again. We thought that this is the season that they'll be making a comeback, but we don't really see that happening, do we? Their performances have been inconsistent here and there. We don't see them. I don't see them making a top four impact either. Though they are in the top four right now, they are on the fourth position, but they have other four teams scratching their butts and knocking on their back door to get ahead of them. So I feel United are on existing on the fringes right now. Ralph Ragnick made it very clear he needs players who are going to show that work rate. That's why he hasn't let go of McTominay or Fred because they show a much better work rate than Pogba does. Pogba is a much better footballer than them, but when it comes to stamina and speed and work rate, he is nowhere to be seen, to be honest. He'll perform for you in the first 55 minutes, and then you'll see him slogging his ass across the pitch. That's the
Yep.
problem with Paul Pogba. He doesn't give in that energy, that dedication that we need him to give.
He'll play in patches through the game, which we don't want. Like, when you're playing football, you want the dedication for the full 90 minutes or whatever time you're playing for. Yeah.
And Anthony Martial departing to Valencia was again not a shocking news, but that is how they've been treating the United players. Cavani as well. I think he's very disheartened with the way he's been treated, especially with Ronaldo coming in. Ronaldo's signing was uncalled for. You didn't need Ronaldo coming into the squad. You could have actually signed better players. You could have focused on Declan Rice coming into the squad. United are linked to Declan Rice still in the summer transfer window, but I'm highly skeptical of that too. Why would someone leave West Ham and come to a bigger giant who are still struggling to find their mark and find the style of play that they love playing? I mean, it's just so
Yeah.
funny and
Thank
amusing
you.
for us
Th-
to watch.
thank you for reminding me, and maybe ruining my sleep now. So yeah. But no, but I mean, what else can I add, man? Like, I'm frustrated as hell. Like, I thought a couple of months ago when Ranier came in, okay, yeah, there's a coach that who's coming with the mentality, who's coming with some tactics. He'll rejuvenate the team. The team will be, pushing hard, and seeing, like, given the fixture, and I kept repeating myself, we have a really good fixture, and for the next 2 months we should be able to win at least 12 of this next 14 games. It's just not happened. Like, the squad is shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I just feel Varane's Ronaldo's definitely gonna go. If we don't make Champions League, he's gonna go. It's
Yeah.
there is no way I see him at this point of his career playing in a Europa League or a Conference League, which obviously I think United will make that at least. But there is no way. I mean, Varane might easily leave. So we're basically going back to what we were a couple of years ago when Jose Mourinho left,
Yep.
right? We made impact signings. We made Jayden Sancho, Varane our priority signings this summer. We were looking for a CDM. It never worked out, but which is fine. I think, which was fine. I think we, even with Jadon Sancho and Varane, I think they would have done. Let's talk about Varane, but Jadon Sancho would have done much better compared to what he's doing right now if Ronaldo was still not, wasn't in the team. Oli would have done better with that squad if Ronaldo wasn't in the team. I think we all know now everybody knows that Oli wasn't a good coach, but
Yep.
nobody was talking about it, for the seasons, for the couple of seasons that he did actually good.
Yep.
Yes, now you can look back and say, oh yeah, these are all, like, individual moments of brilliance. There was nothing that Oli was doing,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, he was getting the stuff out that what you needed from that squad, right? Bruno was playing at a very high level. Bruno's just basically gone. Like, I don't know where is he. To see him until unless Ronaldo is not in the squad. That's the only games that I see him play. If
Yep.
Ronaldo is in the team, if he's playing in the playing 11, I don't see Ronaldo. I don't see Bruno in any of the in the game. Basically,
Yep.
it's disheartening, man. Like, it's disheartening. Like, as a United fan, like you talked about, we did such a big preview of United before the season started, and we were like, all United fans were basically on my show, and there were at least four United fans that came on the show. And we just talked about so many things, and like so many things that was exciting,
Yep.
and basically, literally in 2 months, everything was just gone. Great start against Leeds. We won 5-2. Like, yes, this is the season. This is the season. We should do something. And basically, we've just been on a downhill stream from there on in. I think nothing has worked on except that game. Yeah, it's disheartening to see. I couldn't watch the game today
Yep.
against Middlesbrough. I will check out the highlights, but yeah, I checked out the score, and I'm like, come on, you can't beat a championship team,
Yep.
Middlesbrough, who is like what, seventh in the championship, and you can't beat them at home at Old Trafford. You're taking them to penalties. Like, that's that's where United are. Like, and they played a really strong 11. It's not like they played a bunch of reserves. Ronaldo was there.
Yep.
So
I
yeah.
feel again, whatever you said is correct, and as a United fan, I feel for you. But to be honest, I think United still.
Do you really? Do you really? No, you don't.
I don't feel for you. I was being sarcastic, but yeah, I think United really need to find their laces, man, and they need to tie them and not cross tie them because that's what they've been doing as of late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think apart from that, they really need a centre midfielder. They need to. Ralph Rangnick's tactics are still crossing my head. I mean, I fail to understand how they're not able to dominate the game when his philosophy is all about domination and playing attacking football. I
I
don't
mean,
see
the
that happening
players
for
itself,
United.
like, I don't want to take this late winner transfer show into Man United show, but um,
Yeah.
it's just about the players. It's about the players. Like, they're not willing to do anything for the manager. It just feels like, yeah, like what I kept hearing about, these statements from a lot of United fans. We don't need, and I myself, like, I myself said this, like, we don't need an interim manager. A club like United should have a contingency plan of, if Oli does not work out this season, what are we going to do in the next 4 months? They did not have that. And that's why, after a devastating loss against their main rivals, Liverpool 5-0 at home at half time, you still stuck with him for 4 more games. That just shows that United board, they don't care about it. They don't care about football. And when they brought in the manager, it was an interim coach. Publicly, everyone saying, yes, he's going to be an interim coach. We're going to look for a new manager. And then he's going to move into a consultancy role behind the desk after 6 months. So Ronaldo's thinking, Varane's thinking, Sancho's thinking, why should I give my 100% right now when I know that this coach is not going to be even there for after 6 months? So why the fuck should I do this right now? Like, why should I listen to you? And that's just exactly what's happening, I think, in this world. Like, nobody is ready to do anything for Yannick because it's like, you're not going to be the coach after 4 months. So why do I need to play for you? Do whatever the fuck you want. You can't fire me. You can't sack me. You can't like push me out of the team. It's they have only a couple, they have that squad of players who needs to play. So yeah, it's not, I wouldn't blame Ranić. I really wouldn't. I think he's been coming out on press conferences and saying like what's wrong with the team, but I could see, when you look at United play, you see it. There's nothing that you could say that, oh, this is something's happening. Some spark is there in the training pitch, in the training grounds, but they're doing
Yeah.
some kind of like, training drills where you could see something on the pitch. It's nothing. Nothing's changed from what Oli was, from when Oli left to what we are right now. Nothing's changed except that one game against Crystal Palace where I saw, and I'm like, oh yes, finally I think we might see something. And basically after that we've not seen anything. Not seen anything.
True.
But yeah, let's close out the show. I think our viewers might be like, just get lost. Yeah. So but yeah, thank you so much, Uday,
Yeah.
coming on to the show, discussing about the transfers that happened in the January transfer window. um good. I'm already looking forward to the summer transfer window, just based on the number of signings, number of free transfers that are available.
Yeah.
Rudiger, Luis Suarez, Morata, sorry, not Morata, Dybala, Mbappe, and n number of players that are there for available for a free transfer. Frank Kessie is one of them who's been touted, who's been looking for a new club. We'll see what happens. I think the value that I saw almost with the free agents that are available is over £1 billion.
Yeah.
The value of their players. So it's crazy that they're not signing any contracts for their current clubs, which makes sense. I think pre-contracts are something that you shouldn't do. I feel like, just because you can't give your whole 100% when you know like in 6 months you're going away. Like, it's the same thing with what we were talking about United. So let's see. I'm already looking forward to the summer transfer window. Let's see. Let's hope like there's another blockbuster transfer window to be happening in another 4 months time. But thank you again for coming on to the Late Winner Show. I hope you had a nice time. I hope you liked discussing what we had on the show for in terms of the topics.
Yeah,
But
I always have a good time with you, man. I mean, transfer window was something which I was looking forward to discuss. So yeah, I think we should should have more discussion in the very near future.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. This late winner transfer show definitely now started. Obviously, it's ended. I couldn't do the show that I had actually planned
that's
because,
why it's called the
yeah,
late winner transfer show.
yeah, definitely. So it's definitely going to be there. These shows are going to be there in the coming future. When summer transfer window opens up, I'm going to do more of this on our YouTube channel. But so
Yeah,
definitely stay tuned for that. But for that, if you like the content, if you like the late winner transfer show, if you like what late winner show anyways is doing, please go ahead and please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Definitely helps. Our channel gives us more belief to produce more content. If you guys are liking the content, definitely hit those likes. uh Helps us reach more people out when you hit that like button. So definitely don't forget to do all that stuff. What's required on YouTube. You all know the stuff. You all know the drill. But I'll take your leave now. I think enough talking for almost an hour and 15 minutes. But I hope everyone enjoyed the show. I'll see you very very soon. Good night.